topic be. Today, I've got some wonderful guests here. I've got Shay.
Yes.
And I've got wonderful Linda. And my co-host is here today. Now, swagging it. Now, today's topic is more about, do you think that the diaspora, in terms of the British diaspora, we actually do anything to support being African, or do we accentuate our culture? So before we start, I want you to introduce yourself and tell us what you do, why you're here. Yeah. Nice to see you again, though, Shay. Yeah. So go on.
My name is Shay. I'm here because Zach invited me, to be honest, and I didn't know what to expect.
Okay.
And I'm just here for open conversation.
But give us a background of who you are.
Okay, so I'm Nigerian, I'm Yoruba.
Yes.
I used to be a personal chef.
Okay.
I stopped that, and now I just work 9 to 5 full time, and still trying to figure out exactly what I could do.
And you contested as Mr. Nigeria?
Oh yeah, I did, yeah. So I did Mr. Nigeria years back,
yes.
But I dropped out because of personal issues. So I dropped out,
okay.
But it was good. It was great for character building.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Linda, it's lovely to see you as
Hi.
beautiful woman. Hi. Give us a breakdown of who you are.
Yeah, so I'm Linda, I'm 28. I'm Igbo Nigerian.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm currently running for Miss Universe Nigeria. So
wow.
Hopefully I will be Miss Universe Nigeria soon.
Wow.
Yeah, I work in health tech, so currently I'm trying to get away from that sort of field into cybersecurity, and then also go into that sort of pageantry industry.
So beauty and brains, not just beauty, huh? Nice one. And now, so Zach, give us a breakdown. I know who you are, but hey, come on now.
What am I gonna say? Yeah. Well, I'm Zaki, originally Cameroonian. I'm in the accounting and finance industry. I'm a hairdresser on the side, and
you're my co-host.
I'm your co-host.
100%.
Yeah, I'm your co-host.
Okay, today, one of the things that I've realized about our community as Africans is we don't actually we don't spin the positivity. I know the difference between the African countries. I know that when it comes to the Ghanaian side, it's more about funerals. We don't anything that is positive. No, it's true.
Is it?
Yes. Oh. Let there be a funeral today. There's going to be a hall full of people. Trust.
Yeah. We even know the colours. Red and black and white. You even know that.
Yes. And I know Nigerian. You guys celebrate life, weddings, you're colourful. Because I know there's a difference between the Yoruba and the Igbo.
Yeah.
So give us a breakdown. You know, when you look at your culture as a young person, do you feel that the diaspora supports you to promote it as well as it should do?
Not completely. I think we, as a Yoruba Nigerian man, I feel like we more so promote enjoyment. I think there's a lot of toxic traits that we have as Nigerians as a whole, both Igbo, Yoruba, Benin, whatever it may be. And I feel like a lot of our culture has been missed out in terms of change, and I feel like our culture is only becoming more watered down.
So that means it's more diluted.
Yeah.
And what is that? Yes.
I agree. I think especially now that people have acknowledged the music industry, so people are aware of Nigerians more. So now they see Nigerians, I don't even want to compare, but they see Nigerians as the equivalent of Jamaicans now. Yes. So more of oh yeah, they're cool now, but they don't want to. I don't think people are really interested in going deep into our culture, because we have Yoruba, we have Fula, Hausa, and we have Igbo. Okay. However, they have not seen deep into our culture. Our culture's wonderful, but there's so much to learn, and there's so much to also kind of grasp, do you know what I mean? So yeah, I think with my culture specifically, we have a lot. We have festivals, yam festivals. We've got communities that we do get together and kind of like save money for the villagers back home, which we no longer do now.
Okay.
So growing up with my parents, we always used to go to like these community meetings every Sundays, or even like maybe 3 times a month, where we would learn a lot about our culture. So all the parents will stay downstairs.
Where was this done? Here or
In,
back
London.
Really? I didn't know that.
So all the Igbos would gather together, especially from different like local governments from Igbo land. So what we would do is literally come together. All the parents will be downstairs. They'll discuss how much to raise for the villagers back home. They'll discuss who needs help, who's getting married, like just in general how to help back home. Do you understand? So now, like our generation we're not really bringing each other together. We're sort of like secluded from that. So yeah, that's why I think we're a bit washed. You know.
Yep.
So.
Go on.
Obviously, I'll be honest, I think it's more of like a show and tell. I think it's more to show off and to kind of like, everyone putting their best foot forward and see that, okay, who's the best dressed, who has the best wedding, who has the best this. And I don't feel like, I think once that celebration is over, everyone just goes back to their
So that means we've actually lost our authenticity of our
I don't
culture.
think it's authentic anymore. I mean, it's nice to see, because I think it's nice to show other people, what we're about, other cultures, other ethnic backgrounds and stuff like that. But to be honest, I think it's momentary. I think once the show's done, then no one actually, because there's so many people that I know, they get married, they do the whole traditional thing, like they have this big wedding, but then ask them, have they been back home?
No, but do you understand the reason why? Did they understand? Because with our traditions, there's a reason why we do traditional marriage. You don't just do the traditional marriage for the clothes.
Yeah.
Do they understand why they do the traditional marriage?
No. Because their parents told them to.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to do a traditional marriage because...
But why?
Because it looks nice. I mean,
okay.
Obviously for my mum as well, for my mum, for my auntie.
But now it applies to you. Okay, but do you know the reason why they do traditional marriages?
No.
Okay, they did it because when 2 families come together and there's a problem in a family, instead of you going outside the family, they are able to in-house resolve the issue. You see, so it's like 2 families knowing each other and coming together. And this is when you said that, it's actually, I think I feel sad that we do not understand. It's like now the heritage aspects now is gone out of it and it's become more superficial. It's become more superficial because when you said you want to do it for your parents aren't getting married.
Yeah.
You're getting married. So you have to understand the reason why, because when you do a white wedding,
I don't know why I'm doing it either.
that's my point.
I'm just saying. I mean, it's the truth. I don't know. I know that I have to commit to something, and that's the way.
Hold on, who are you committing to, the person or the tradition?
No, to my wife.
So your wife now has become a something, but anyway, hold on. So now, no, but you said it. I didn't say it that.
But
you said it that.
I'm committing to the commitment that I made with my wife.
You're committed to the wife and...
I'm committed to the commitment that I made with my wife, and that something is the commitment that we made and we discussed and we agreed to.
So that was a something, not the person that was a something, no?
But it leads to the person.
Damn, boy. I feel for your wife though. Future wife, right?
That's great.
I know. You can just throw words like that around me, trust. So now I know that you're contesting for Miss Nigeria Universe,
Yeah, Miss Universe Nigeria.
Okay. So what made you put your hat in the ring?
So for me, it's all about confidence. Like I feel like growing up, I didn't have that much confidence, and I felt like going there to be confident and show people who I am as a person.
Yes.
Not just that, but help my people. I feel like a lot of girls in Nigeria feel like they need to change their ways. Social media has changed people to the extent where girls are doing their bodies, girls are like literally trying to feel like they need to make enough money to please people. They're going about the wrong way. And I feel like if I'm able to show who I am as a person, my real self, my real person, my image, who I am as a person, then I'm able to kind of like sort of teach them how to be confident as well. Do you
So you're
understand?
empowering them basically.
Yeah, empowering them, making them feel better, also helping Nigeria as well, health-wise. That's another thing that I want to sort of like use as part
Is
of
it
my project.
mental health or
Physical health?
Physical health.
Yes. I feel like with Nigerians, we have a lot of like cardiovascular diseases.
I don't think it's just Nigerians. I think
Africans
Africa,
in
our
general,
food is
our
more
food.
carbohydrates.
Yeah.
We eat late.
We eat
Yeah.
late.
We don't, yes.
We don't exercise. We don't do know the meaning.
My dear, we exercise here as a party. We dance like there's no tomorrow. We do exercise.
Two-step exercise,
I
yeah.
know, right? Yeah.
So obviously, like, I feel like with health is very important.
Yes.
Nigerians, yeah, fruit and vegetable in Nigeria is very expensive.
Yes.
And I feel like if we kind of like make it a thing where it's cheap, number
Yes.
one. Number two, there are certain organizations that can support that.
Mm-hmm.
They're able to teach younger children how to like learn how to eat five fruit and vegetables a day. So you know, like here we have a specific campaign, a program, the
Like 5 a day, yes.
Do you understand?
It turned to 7, innit?
Exactly. So now if we can use that and apply that to Nigeria, then it will sort of help them understand how to eat more healthily and when to eat, what to drink, what time to eat, what time to not eat. Like all of this really could, you know, support their health.
You know, when you said
true,
that,
actually.
it made me laugh that when to eat. Now, people in Ghana are barely eating once a day.
That's
So
what
now,
I'm
I know, it's so funny. So when you talk about when to eat, it's when they get the food to eat, isn't
That's
it?
what I'm saying is when
Yes.
they get food. And I have to relate it back to myself because although I live here, I also eat when I want to eat and sometimes it's not that good. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes I eat very late. So yeah, I feel like it's very important to kind of like learn what I have gained here in terms
Yes.
of knowledge
And
bring it back
implement
home.
it, yeah.
Exactly.
Can I ask you a question though? Do you think that Nigerians are going to be receptive to doing this?
That
I
was
think-
my next question, actually.
I think they will. Like if it's
Even
not,
Africans as a whole.
I feel
Yeah.
like they will. Advertisement is good, marketing is good, showing them the change. How, no offense, yeah, but like Europeans, they live very long. Do you understand?
They do?
They do.
They
yeah.
do, and I feel like if Africans are able to see the changes that is made to us here in the UK, and how like we don't usually go through like high blood pressure as much, our generation anyways, don't go through high blood pressure, then we can, you know, apply that to the kids back home. Also, yeah, like I said, marketing, advertisements, and showing them like how you can actually healthy eating and how that can actually help them. Regular checkups
Yes.
will be able to show them
agree.
how they were before and how they are after. So yeah, like I think that's important.
And is that for the younger? Sorry.
No, go on.
I was going to say, is that for the younger generation or like, is there a specific age or I guess a target market that you'd say that's pointed towards? Because
So
aunties and uncles, you tell them,
yeah,
Come on now.
listen, let's not start with that.
No,
No, we want to live younger. Haven't you seen the pot-bellied men
they-
trying to act young? Come on.
they act young by dressing young, but they're not
Yeah.
actually internally.
That the bellies are still sticking
bellies are-
out.
Yeah.
I've literally
Okay.
told, I don't think you understand how much I've told my parents to go to the gym. You know, when they complain about high blood pressure, I said, you need to go to the gym, you need to exercise. They said, no, well, I've been working for 10 hours, you know, this is my exercise. No, it's not.
Which is true.
Do you understand? Like, I feel like, yeah, if you do more than 10,000 steps, that's fine. But you also need to apply more exercise to it
And
as well.
eat healthy, because if you're eating more than you exercise, then at the end of the day, you're not actually making a difference.
Honestly,
Exactly.
you need to have a balance of the two. And
Exactly.
even with that being said, because if you know, if this is how like the majority are in terms of them being a bit stubborn or being stuck to their ways and all that kind of stuff, and if you don't know, like the obesity levels in Africa are increasing dramatically as well. So how would you conquer that in terms of like what strategies are you going to use? Because,
Precisely.
yeah, because obviously you're over here and obviously you already know the level of corruption that happens back home. So how would you kind of like integrate yourself to make sure that this definitely does happen and that I'm not fighting a losing battle?
Okay, by the grace of God, if I win,
Yeah.
I'll spend a
When
year
you win.
there. When I win,
Yeah.
I'll
Yes.
spend. Thank
That's
you.
on period.
Yes.
I'll spend a year there, and I feel like things like, you know, like here in the UK where the kids will have like their sports day. Back home, they can start from there. If I'm starting from young, they can start having their sports day. Now the elderly now, it's something that we kind of like. I have to probably try and start a project where I'm able to get them to go to something that's out of their comfort zone, but also within the community, within their age.
Why don't you do it within the family setting? Because sometimes it's nice to get the family together and say, okay, I'm going to do this project as a family. So you get the family together, and then you say, okay, once every weekend, so you start there, that instead of you going to go and sit in a restaurant every Saturday or Sunday, why don't we all go for like a park walk? Why don't we do something? I think that would be a nice way of integrating.
Yeah.
It could be, literally.
Do you know what? I think the biggest change would be money.
Yep.
I just think money will change everything, because put it this way, yeah, even if you look at health, yeah, we look at people in deprived areas, you tend to eat, there tends to be, even in the UK, there tends to be more, chicken and chip shops, there tends to be more fast food restaurants and chains and stuff like that. Whereas if you go up to Chelsea and stuff like that, it's more natural foods. Yeah. Things that are grown authentically. So if we take this strategy, put it back home, it exists today as far as if you put money, gyms, whatever it may be, because the average auntie in Niger or Ghana, whatever it may be, there's no incentive to go and do all these things.
There is.
So, but not to challenge it, but I think it's very hard, what's going to make them step up and go to the gym?
Yeah.
No, but you guys said
But it doesn't
something.
have to be, you don't have to go to the gym.
Not to the gym, but
Yeah.
there's sitting down.
But you see, one thing that you guys are forgetting in Africa is not like this country that when you put something in the ground, it doesn't grow. Do you understand me? Here, you have to put enough something to buy. In Africa, you can put something. So when you get a plot of land, and then you're growing your vegetables. Because I remember my mom used to grow her carrots, she used to grow her vegetables, she used to grow. And the funny thing is promoting what we have in Africa.
Yeah.
Because what happens is, now when COVID came, how many people knew that they put ginger in their food? I was saying that there were certain things that we did. Ginger, pepper, and all those stuff. If you're African, you know.
Yeah.
You know those stuff. Yeah. But the moment COVID came, they said, oh, that's what helps. But we've known about that stuff. We've known about that stuff.
It's true.
Because when you look at loads of fruits, now if you go on Google, when you go and then you Google certain fruits, they tell you, oh, this is the health benefits, all those stuff. And all those stuff are from Africa. Those are where you can start.
Yeah. You know what it is? We have it. We have the resources. I just feel like it's the routine.
We don't promote it well.
We don't know how to exactly. How are we going to eat spinach and arrow or something? That's what we have, like one of our dishes, and then you come eat with fufu. Like that does not even. It just does not make sense.
Palm oil,
man. All that kind of stuff.
All these things take away the natural nutrients.
The nutrients,
from it. So
yeah.
Because we have it.
But kind of tastes nice though.
It does. It does.
that palm oil, they'll be saying high cholesterol and all that kind of stuff.
We add salt, we add Maggi, then we add black pepper, we add curry. All of these things, after a while, it's just gone.
I was even going to say that, just to touch on your point, that back in my grandma's days in the 60s, they actually used to have like a farmer's contest to see that who could harvest the biggest yam, who could harvest the biggest cassava, and it was a way in which the community would promote farmers to actually be farming even more, to have more plots of land and all that kind of stuff, just to be harvesting something that's just a lot more natural and all that kind of stuff. But nowadays they've cut that. They've cut that completely. So I mean,
so that means when we talk about the diaspora, so now that means we as adults are not actually doing our job to let you appreciate, because now I see that the young are actually trying to fight for our culture more than adults.
And we're trying to fight for your health more than you're trying to fight for your health.
That's what I'm saying about you guys are doing more. It's like you're trying to represent more than us teaching. Because I remember my mom did. My mom was like, oh, you're African and you have to appreciate where you come from. You need to understand your language. You need to do this. You need to dress a certain way. Because now when you go out, how we represent, because yesterday I was looking at the definition of British diaspora and being British, and it was talking about values. It was talking about respecting others and all that stuff. And then I looked at like Africa, and we were being represented as our artifacts, our food. But one thing that I knew was our culture was one of those stuff that you have to respect your elders. Anybody could smack you upside the head. It's like you can see somebody on the side of the road, you'll be misbehaving. The person will smack you upside your head, and then you go to your parents, and your parents say, what did you do? And then they'll beat you again. But now, it seems that we have lost all that. What makes us unique and what makes us proud. So what I'm saying, so now, in UK, do you think our elders, they do anything if you guys are not fighting for us, because I know you're talking about the health aspect, but the respect aspect is one of the stuff that I know Nigerian people, when you meet somebody, you bow down. You see, it's like, is it courtesy, isn't it?
Courtesy, yeah.
The value, yeah.
Yes, and all that stuff. But now, some of the young people are even embarrassed because when their friends are there and their parents are saying, so now I'm talking to you and you're standing up and you're talking to me. Are you mad? And then it's like you're feeling, oh, come on, mom, my friends are here. But what I'm saying is when you look at the Turkish, Greeks, Indians, they have actually impregnated their culture, whereby when you're living in a house, the grandmother lives there, the grandfather lives there.
Yeah,
and I remember in Africa,
that used to be the case.
Same thing.
Yep.
that's the thing.
Yep.
So where are we going wrong here?
It's disappearing. And it's quite sad to see, actually.
I
It's actually definitely disappearing.
Because as we're sitting here, we are different African cultures sitting here now.
Yeah.
I'm Ghanaian, you're Yoruba, you're Igbo, you're Cameroonian. And at the end of the day, it's like we're losing that authenticity. So how do we change the narrative?
I think we need to embrace ourselves more. Like growing up, we had this sort of like narrative that we were not the most best in terms of like in comparison to other cultures, especially in terms of black culture. We were definitely considered the least favorite.
For sure.
Yes.
100%. So now we need to embrace our culture and show people who we are. You know, like forget the weddings, forget the music, show them our real culture. What we actually celebrate back home. Do you get it?
And that's not to, sorry,
Yeah,
to cut you short, that's not to take away from the fact that people are trying. There's a lot of people that are trying. There's people that I see that like have pop-up shops, try to like, you know, start off like museums and stuff like that and whatnot. People are trying, but then you see what that thing where they say it takes a village. I think it's not enough, and I don't know when it's going to get to the point to where it's enough. I remember just like what you said back in the day, that back in school, I remember when I used to hear parents change their names to John Smith because I can't get a job that way, or that it wasn't one of the like best things in school to say, oh yeah, I'm African, because like the Caribbeans and the Jamaicans were actually getting
literally.
So yeah, but the thing is that I feel like we are embracing it, but I think we're embracing it for the wrong reasons. That's just the thing about it. Like I think, like what I said before, is about people just putting their best foot forward. Like for example, Ghana's like the heart of Africa now, but it's the heart of Africa to party. That shouldn't be the
it
case.
shouldn't be like that.
Do you see what I mean?
Oh
like
God.
some people are scared to like, for example, go to Nigeria, but then that's all down to what the like the corruption or whatever it is, and all these things just kind of like, it's sad. So I don't know which way to go, and I don't know how it's going to happen.
No, but go on.
To be honest, I don't really feel like people care enough though. No one cares. Like the majority of people don't care. Like, you know, we can have this discussion, but reality is we're going to go back to work within the next week or next couple of days and, you know, put on our corporate voices and speak a certain way. Like, we don't care. Like, it's just the reality. I don't feel like we care enough.
But when I say, how do we change the narrative? And this is what I keep
You have to
saying
care.
that.
Don't
Yeah,
really
but
change it.
how do we move from letting people understand that we need to care, because we're losing our identity? Because the thing is, with me, my parents instilled it in us. With me, because my kids are half Nigerian, half Ghanaian, I'm doing the Ghanaian part. Well, the dad is actually okay. But at the end of the day, I'm sorry. Okay, let me laugh.
I can't.
No, but first, no, yeah.
Don't you have it with Sierra Leone as well?
What?
Sierra Leone.
Yeah, the dad's mom, their grandmother is Sierra Leonean, and like their grandmother is Sierra Leonean, and their dad. And I remember there were times that he used to say he was Caribbean, and I'm thinking which part. But at the end of the day, my point was, no, I'm sorry, it was a grown. Okay, let me kind of mind what I'm saying.
Anti-shade.
Why should I? And anyway, here's what it is. But my point was, as you said, he tried to even represent as a Nigerian. He had issues with. And I remember he wanted to even change his name to his mom's maiden name, which was Williams. Do you understand me? Even though he was a Yoruba. Okay, there was a time that he was Caribbean, he was American. I don't know which part of America. But he was from somewhere. But I knew that he was full Nigerian. Do you understand? The point I'm saying is, down the line, he used to have a go at his children. You don't, you know, when football comes, choose a team. And when they say I don't care, so now you don't like Nigerian people. And I'm like, come on now, you don't even like your name.
Yeah.
So my point is, so that means sometimes it stems from us. as adults.
It's hard though, because what we need to remember is that, like, in order to thrive, back in the day anyway, my parents and your generation and moving forward, I feel like there had to be you didn't have a choice ultimately. Like, you needed to get into these rooms in order to change the trajectory of generations. That's the only way. And then and I feel like this is what we're doing now. We're bringing back our culture. We're bringing it back somehow, some way.
Yeah.
Whereas before, what you want to do Afro beats?
Yes.
Go and clean toilets, and that was the truth. Like, that was the truth. Whereas now, it's very different.
Which is true.
Very different. Now you can have people in, for example, what you want to do as far as like what was it, tech or STEM, like. These things exist, whereas before it wasn't. You couldn't get any.
No, you could get it, but the percentage was low.
Yeah, one of even right now it exists where it's just D&I. They throw one black person in there for.
So it's not an African thing.
Sure.
It is more of a black thing because they want the black person to fill that quota. Do you understand?
Yeah, but then that's the thing. That person might have the surname of the name Williams, and he might bring in Oluwa Bayo, like, bring him in.
Come on,
and then
keep
there's more
going.
people, like,
Yes.
It just creates a chain of people, but you almost have to make that sacrifice at some point.
No, that's one thing
like
I can definitely congratulate you guys for, because you guys came in with like nothing really, and you just came and you kind of just breaking the rules, changing the game sort of thing. I think if it wasn't for, because I feel like even the kids in school now, they're going to know to be African. They're not going to be saying that, I'm carrying and a quarter this or stuff like that.
No, but when I was younger, we did have that because I'm first generation. That was born here. It's like you go to school and you effing African and you dirty, you don't have your bath. And we're talking about people that they don't even have their bath for months and they're telling you that you stink, kind of thing. Yeah. So my thing was that, how do we build that confidence for our children? And the funny thing is, the kids that were even African turned around and said they were West Indian.
That was same thing.
Yeah, see, they turned around and said they were West Indian because
saying,
they were sort of like embarrassed to say that, oh, I'm African. You see,
but it wasn't cool before. I'll be honest, it was not cool. Like, it was cool to us if you're in the culture. It's like, oh, you're Nigerian, you're Nigerian. It's cool. You're Ghanaian, I'm Ghanaian, Akwaba. It's cool.
It's a Kwaba.
But even so, we were always
outside
cussing
of
each
that-
other regardless.
Yeah.
Like, growing up, we different African countries
Yeah.
were getting at each other
Exactly.
from where we were from.
'Cause it
So
wasn't cool.
self-hate. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Now that we don't have self-hate, which is, we shouldn't really have that now because we only love ourselves now because people love us, right? But I feel like now is show them what is not the norm of African culture, the opposite of what they're seeing.
Which is
Yeah.
true.
Forget what they're seeing now, show them the complete opposite so they understand what we are as a person. I think that's how we can actually just overcome that. Yeah, thrive as a.
But I think your generation is doing brilliant because it's like even when you came here today, they're even trying to push you into another tribe, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's, no.
She's in by then.
Yeah. So is it, no. But what I'm saying is, you guys are eclectic.
Yeah.
You guys have got this thing that it's like, it doesn't matter if you're Nigerian, Congolese, whatever it is. It's like automatically you guys are working together as a team. I remember the football match that you threw. It's like there were so many guys there. Shay came in late as usual. And
Is he a latecomer?
Yep.
Not like you.
Well, shit.
yeah, but the point is, you guys have, as you say, you've broken down the barriers whereby you do not look at where you come from, but you're working together as a team, trying to. So if let's say that today you guys are going to Nigeria, you guys can get a ticket and so we're going to go and support Shay in Nigeria.
Yeah.
If you're going to Cameroon, we're going to support you. If you're going to Nigeria, we're going to support you.
Yeah.
Whereas, because I know some of my son's friends, and they said, "Oh, Andre, when are you going to Ghana?" And then because I come from Ghana, so they're gonna go with them. So it's like you guys have got. But what I'm saying is, so in the diaspora now, when you look at what we're doing, I'm just trying to pinpoint where we went wrong and how we can change that narrative. Because now, I know you've gone on the health tangent. What can the parents do to highlight that issue? So instead of like the parent coming up and saying that, oh, you know what, I know you're Nigerian, let's go to a wedding. You want them to break down why you're doing a traditional wedding. You want to break down like what, you said something initially, that you guys had. There were meetings that you guys used to go to.
Yeah.
Tell us what. Just give me a breakdown of that.
Yeah, so the meetings, it basically included like Igbo people where our parents will come together, and let's say for example in Nigeria we have 37 states, I believe. Within one state, they might have a local government. In that local government, they might have a village. So that local government, imagine like several of those people within that local government live in the UK, they will come together to create a meeting where they'll save money, help back home, charity, put money towards the roads, put money towards people in the village. If anybody has died, they'll all put in money together, you know, and when someone's getting married in the community, we'll put money together. And it's not just back home, but it's here. So like we would all come together, and then the kids, they'll send all the kids upstairs because obviously we're too young to understand a lot of what's going on. They will teach us Igbo upstairs. So they would separate the two. We'll learn our culture upstairs. I wasn't that serious anyways, but we'll learn our culture upstairs. And that's something I feel like we need to do now. And it's not just Igbo. Yes. Everyone should do
Every language, so that you understand.
I was going to say, because Cameroonians, and I think not even just Cameroonians, but I think all Africans do it. Like I know for us, we call that same thing in Jangi. I know like, for example, the Caribbeans call it like Pardner. So that community thing, I feel like a lot of Africans, like the old school, do it. But I think like there's some like lack of security now in terms of like everyone's a bit careful about their money. Where's it going? Exactly. So I think that's just the issue with it right now in terms of are people taking it seriously and stuff like that.
That's justified though.
And also I have to admit it is laziness. Like I'm just looking back at my community and my generation now, because all of the people that I grew up with in that community, they're all doing their own thing. One's a doctor, the other one's a nurse, the other one's a surgeon. They're all doing their own thing. We are all doing our own thing, but we're not actually coming together
as a unit.
Exactly. However, we still have a couple of things on Instagram that I see here and there, but it's just lack of like...
You've lost that community spirit.
Exactly. We're not bothered. And even when we do have our like yearly parties, not all of us come, so you know we've just lost that sort of like togetherness
because no one cares.
It's sad. No one cares.
No one cares. Like people, I'll be honest, I feel like people are trying to build here rather than build back home.
Of course.
And I'll be honest, there's a lot of trauma attached to it because you put things back home, you'll be building for 5 years, 10 years, you don't
see it.
You don't see crumbs.
They all exactly. They all say like the houses back home, there's no value, etc. Blah blah blah. But I feel like there could be value.
There could be.
No, there's value. Yeah. There's 100% value.
But that's what people are using now as an excuse to not build houses back home.
Oh, who's saying that though? Is that can't? Who's actually saying that? Because I feel like people are not doing that now. If the youngers are not doing it now, it's all because of the trauma that's attached to back home. You go, someone selling your plot, you thought you built a house for 5-6 years, you go, the house is not there, so all them kind of stuff. So you're thinking, and that's ingrained in your mind, you're thinking, I can't go back home and do this project back home because I'm not going to see it. I'm not going to see the fruits of it and stuff like that.
And there's a lack of system though as well. Like I don't feel like there's not much. Like if I go back home, I could be very wrong as well. Correct me if I'm wrong and excuse my ignorance, but if I go back home and I see land and I say, okay, I want to buy this land, who's to say that I actually own that land?
Yeah.
Right? There's where's the contract, where's the agreements?
But you can register it.
But even that, like how assertive are these things? Because it's like, okay,
does the system work?
Yeah, there's a lack of that. Whereas here, mortgage,
Yeah, the rules are the rules here. The law is the law.
Yeah.
The law can be bent back home. That's the problem.
Pay police.
If you make a land certificate back home, that can be duplicated and that can be someone else's. The land and surveyor, or the person that's managing that property, will be bribed enough to actually sell that to someone else. And that's the problem with all these things. Because the law is not the law, this is where everything falls.
Like the laws are not enforced.
But
they're not enforced. Just use a bit of money.
It's because there's a lack of money.
No, it's not. I don't think so.
You can't, listen, if there's money, bribery wouldn't be bribery if there's more money.
But if this thing is mine,
it would still exist, but it wouldn't be.
It's greed. It's not lack of money.
Yeah, but it's greed because there's a lack of money.
No. There's a line. There's a line. There's a line. If you've already been paid for a service that you're worth, why do you need double or triple to be getting more? You don't need that. But because of greed, you want it. And because it's been offered to you, you want it. You don't need it.
The greeds, I'll be honest, well, again, it's opinion, innit? I believe that the greed stems from a lack of money?
No, like I'll give you an example just quickly, yeah. For example, I know that like obviously Nigeria is really big for oil, and right now they said that there's a huge issue where there's theft in oil. So about 40% of the oil that Nigeria has been distributed and going to other countries, and I think this is under Shell or something like that.
Yes.
Apparently Shell was now looking to close
Yes.
their branch in Nigeria, just because of what? Greed. Are you trying to tell me these people don't have a job and they've been doing this for over 20 years?
Which is true.
Same thing with electricity, same thing with energy, same with all these things.
And that's a knock-on effect from everything.
And then you'll start saying, why is the light not working? Why is this not working? But then
Yes.
people are taking it, people are stealing it, all these kind of things. So tell me, whose fault is that really?
Because they're not holding people
of
that they do these fraudulent behavior. They're not holding them accountable. Because when you catch that person, he'll bribe himself out of it. You see? And no, that's what I'm saying, that the system is not working. The system is not working. But me, one thing, when he talks about the houses and stuff, one thing that I do know is, I think sometimes people become lazy. If somebody's building my house, yes, I'm gonna go there and see. You see, but the thing is, people stay here 5 years expecting that the person, you see, I don't care.
But that being said though, I even here though, you see a builder here will be drinking tea and coffee with his bum out, and he's meant to be building for a long time, and it's the same thing.
No, but you have to go there.
Exactly, it's the same thing, but where you're not there, it's harder, because even here, you see builders on their break all the time.
Yeah.
Tea, coffee, tea.
No, but there's a time limit. There's a limit of where that they can't cross.
No, but that's not what the problem is.
No, it's like...
No. You know what I mean? My auntie said in the 60s, yeah, she kept sending money back home for them to build their house. And the person, her sister that she gave the money to build their house, built her own house and built a shabby one for her because she hadn't gone back home. My point is, if I'm sending money home to build a house, every year, every 6 months,
You have to go back.
You have to go back and you have to go and check it.
Yeah.
Because automatically, if somebody says, so bring $1,000 and you're taking it and you're sending it, the person's going to live large on your dime.
Yep.
So at the end of the day, sometimes I don't blame the people for taking people's money. I blame the people that allow it to happen. Because if you're staying here 5 years,
then you expect someone to do a marvelous job for you and build some
so what they do
mansion.
is they take pictures of people's
houses
and then send it to
But
you.
then this is also, but then like, it's also family as well though. Like, if you're sending money to family, you don't expect.
Oh, come on now. I had a sister that tried to sell my house. So what are you talking about? And then she even lives here. No, but please.
What I'm trying to say is more
I generally feel like family's no option at the moment.
I agree, Auntie. I'm saying, but you don't necessarily expect your family to do that.
Yes, you do.
No, Auntie, you started off with trusting them, and then she proved that she gave you a reason to not trust her anymore, right?
But my point is, there is something, that's the reason why, even I always say that as human beings, you can wake up in the morning, and say that I'm going to go to work. Something will happen and you divert. You can't even trust yourself. So sometimes that trust that we put in people, sometimes it's our fault.
Yeah.
Because it's our fault.
And even if they don't like...
I'm not saying that you can't give somebody a bit of trust, but what I'm saying is, when you give that person that free range, the person will use it for anything.
Exactly. No, it's true.
So let me ask you guys a question. Well, you particularly.
Okay.
Would you want to retire back home?
Yes, I would.
And you're going to?
Well, it depends.
Do you want to retire back home?
No, I can't, because
the reason why I said I want to retire back home,
You live there, back home.
But I know some people that have done that.
No, but I want to retire back home. Winter time, I'm gone. Summertime, I'm here.
You see what I'm saying? Lost in your way. Why do you do
You just thought it's a topic I quite.
Oh, they want to retire back home.
Why?
No, you know something. Let me tell you something. What would happen is
No.
You see what I'm saying?
No. But let me tell you something. No, but back home, I've got people that when they've got appointments. So when the appointment time comes, they come here. The thing is, if you've got money back home, you can live better than you live here. Do you understand?
I agree.
You've got family units. Because even just this evening, I was talking to one of the reporters that was here. That he was talking about the community spirit. He was talking about where his dad is. He was talking about his dad. Where his dad lives. Everybody knows him in the community. Even when he goes to Uganda, everywhere, it's like they know them. That family unit is what we're losing. Do you understand me? Because when you're here, sometimes you don't even know your next door neighbor. You only know. Because in Africa, I remember my dad, when we were younger, when he wakes up in the morning, he goes and says hello to everybody on that road. So everybody knew him. So if anything happened, you had that community with you. What I'm saying is, in this country, we don't have it. It's kind of like somebody, you see, I remember my mom said when they came, a white man falls down, they go and help him. Then they said, you threw me down, and then they arrest that person. So it made everybody so distant that you don't want to get involved in people's business. You see, so, but the thing is, back home, if you manage to create that sense of community, you're not going to be alone, because the sort of like the astronomical figures that are identified are loneliness in this country.
Yeah,
I know people that die in their houses. That there's nobody. Whereas back home, if you're there, there's family walking in. I remember my mom's time, there was less gossip because you told something to your family. I remember it's only when my mom died about 13 years ago that most of the family secrets, we heard it. Because they kept it within. Now, we're like BBC. Let somebody tell you something. They'll adapt the stuff. So we've lost what kept us sort of like close, the culture aspect. So now, when you say Tofiakwa, die, by the time you grow up, you will see that, you see, when you're younger, you've got your friends, you've got like your family, because you're not married. You get to a point where probably you might be going to Nigeria, you're doing business, you're doing stuff. So you end up enjoying going back. But now you have that mindset, and it's fair enough.
I believe it's temporary. I think it's more so.
But you've not reached that point whereby you fail. That's the point.
It's the state
because that's the thing. When you guys start changing the narrative, then it makes it comfortable for you to go, because there are bigger and better cars in Nigeria than we see in this world.
Exactly. Let it be a norm that you're excited to live there or spend 20 years there and come back. Do you know what I mean? Do you know, like back here, like in Nigeria, people are so excited to send their kids here for boarding school in London. Let it be a thing where, like, oh, I want to send my kids back home.
Yes.
To like study more about Nigeria.
I'll be honest though, I feel like people that go back home only go back to the nice parts. They're not really going back
to the villages.
They're going back to the fully developed parts, and they just added, like, they go and do jaye, like they don't.
What is a jaye?
Like enjoyment.
Like, that's what I was saying.
You go to Ghana, you go Christmas times, and it's only for fun.
I can't lie.
You saying that?
From
what I see, it might be different, but from what I see, everyone, just go Lekki,
show off.
you go to Okoye State, like you go to all these places that are nice and developed, but you don't even, you say, I'm a Nigerian and guy, how far, but you're not really, you're Nigerian, but like,
you're not actually you're not actually going to the rural areas to actually see what is going on there, because we've got schools that still, people are still, there's no good schools, there's no healthcare, the sanitation stuff, and then you see cars that are all these roads that are not done, and you're asking yourself
CO2.
Yes.
It's crazy. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, it's all about enjoyment right now, and not to say that it's not a bad thing that we're making Africa look so beautiful, but then it's also a facade. Then really,
why are we not investing in it? Why are we not investing in it?
Because the money's gonna get stolen.
Yeah.
No, but the thing is, you can still.
Actually, that's true. That's
no,
not
but how come?
time.
So now this is what I put to you guys. How come a Chinese person can go to Africa and become rich? Because I remember Donald Trump made a statement. That, my friends, when they go to Africa, when they come back, they're rich. So now, how can, when we black people, we go to Africa, when we come back, we are poor?
Auntie, I said this before in the last one. Black people don't see value in black things. Therefore, when it comes to black people, it's very different. The black man values the white man, their opinion. It values the Chinese man, their opinion. It values the Indian man and their opinion. When it comes to the black man, they do not value their opinion. It's that simple. Black people do not value black things. And that's just standard. If I have something today, right now, I guarantee if I want to sell it to a white man versus selling it to a black man, the black man will try and make it a lot. He will try and discount me, make it short price. The white man will pay. So typically, where's the money at? And I'm suffering. So why would I not go to the person that's going to pay me more?
You know what? Yes. You know when you said that, this weekend I went to party in the park, It was one of my friends, Dennis.
Going to party in the park?
Yeah. It was on Saturday. That was brilliant. I went there, and one of the stuff that I met, one of the vendors, Wachi Joint. This guy was saying that he's got a shop in West Green Road, and anytime you go to his shop, it's Ghanaian food. You see white people, you see other people there. There was Uncle John, that his workers are white people and stuff. And I remember Wachi Joint said, when one of the Ghanaian men came into his shop. Yeah, he turned around and said, "Oh, how come you are letting our Western people now come and enjoy?" And he says, that is how we promote our country, because I love Ghana. Because I'm telling you that when you go to the shop, you see white people, you see Turkish, you see people in a shop. There's an African shop, you see. And the thing is, why do we feel if we have something, we are not supposed to let other people enjoy?
Can I just, and that even touches on my point about black owned. What do you think about that? Because I think some people don't like the fact that when they have a business that they attach, oh, this is black owned to it. And people question it and they say, oh, but then shouldn't your services or what you do cater to like a wider demographic? Why wouldn't you want to reap from that? Why wouldn't you want other people to see like the level of success or what you produce or whatever it is? Like people are saying, why are you making it specifically just for black people? Like, so that isn't that narrowing your target market?
The fact that you're saying that it's black owned doesn't mean that you serve just the black community.
Yeah, I think it's
there's some people but that is where we have to educate them.
Yeah.
That
I think it's just to see
that
how come Indian people, how many Indian people do you see them? No, but how many Indian people do you see them buying weave, buying black hair products? But you see an Indian person behind the shop, and you see black people going in. Even though it's Indian-owned shop, who do they cater to? Black people. They don't say, they don't have, how come with us, when we say black owned, now we have our backs up. That means we need to re-educate ourselves for them to understand that a black owned business doesn't mean I'm serving just black people.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that.
It doesn't mean that. But what I will say is that if you want to be successful, do not say you're black owned. It's that simple. You will not thrive in this economy saying that you're black owned.
Yeah,
I also agree with that as well.
You will not.
Yeah,
no
I think
matter
that's what it is.
Why do you agree with that?
Just because I feel like a lot of people may feel intimidated by it. Like the word black owned can be, like she said, it can come across like, you know, it's just a black community. It's just a black people that can be allowed to, you know, eat at the restaurant, go to the store and buy products. Whereas I feel like as well, if you cater out to a wider sort of population,
demographic,
exactly, they'll understand how welcoming it is to go into a shop and buy weave, to go to a shop and buy.
Oh, I thought you were saying weed. Oh, sorry.
No.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people, especially even just like, you know, on social media, when people say, oh, like, this person's wearing extensions, I don't like it, etc., blah, blah, blah. Like, let them feel comfortable to go to the shop and get something that's black owned. Do you understand? Without having to put the label on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like, if, let's say, for example, you're selling weave, like I said before, let a white person be comfortable. Some white people want to wear weaves. Do you know what I mean? Let them wigs. Let them be comfortable to go to a Afro-Caribbean, like PAX, for example, store to get a wig.
Yes.
People will slaughter them for that.
Why?
I think people are very narrow-minded, you know.
That's the
I feel like
thing.
people love to
So that
overgeneralize.
means we're lack of education and
Yeah.
understanding.
Because there may be, I know I'm going really personal with this, but there may be a woman, like, you know, who's going through something.
Like, let's say the people that they have cancer, sometimes they lose their
They might lose their hair.
hair.
They might want to go into the black store to get hair, but might feel uncomfortable because they're getting the stare.
They don't want somebody to look at them as though, what you doing here?
Exactly.
I mean, to be fair, I could. So I actually work for, well, I don't work for, but basically I used to work in a black-owned wig company. Where,
Wig?
Yeah, a wig company to sell frontal wigs, full day wigs, whatever it may be.
For cancer patients.
Yeah, for
I
cancer
think I know
patients
which
as well.
company
And to be honest, there was a lot of European, a lot of white people coming in, Chinese, whatever it may be, black women as well. Like, it just varies.
Because we don't have to be bold, we just wear it.
You don't even necessarily even have to put black on.
But that's what I'm saying. She's probably made it to cater out to the wider population.
And also, I think it's important to, when you even market these things, have a range of different people that
Represent it.
In a wig, you know, it can be, it's worldwide, you know. So
Because if you look at these wigs, we got purple, look at the one on my head, you know, we got different. No, I'm sorry. No, but what I'm saying is we don't have just one color. You understand? We got blue, we got green, we got whatever it is. And as you say, we've got different demographics. So we have to educate people that the fact that somebody's in your shop doesn't mean that, even if it's owned by a black person, it doesn't mean it's just for black people.
That depends on the person that's selling the product or the service.
Exactly.
If they want it to reach a wider demographic, then they're going to have to let those people know. There's some people that genuinely just want it to be only black people.
Why?
Because of the racism and all the
but
things
then-
that
Yeah,
they've heard
but
from
you're doing
before and stuff like that.
business.
But I feel like you're doing yourself a disservice at the end of the
It's
day.
true. I
Because
believe that.
Yeah.
And guess what? Do you know what we do as black people as well? We say, oh, I was supporting a black-owned business and they didn't do this and they didn't do that. Then you tell the black.
They have an expectation.
There's an expectation. There's a level of entitlement that
I
is
agree,
attached to
yes.
it. And then everything's just crossed. Like,
Ask the black person to contribute and say, okay, cool, I'm opening up a poll or something like
They're
that,
not
or
going to
like or GoFundMe for.
They're
And
not
then
going
if
to
you
contribute.
ask a white person to contribute, there's
Don't
a
contribute
big
because I remember
difference.
recently there was some people that they drove all the way from Ghana to London in 16 days. Recently they drove all the way from
They
Ghana.
drove.
Yeah.
Where they get petrol?
Well,
On the way.
What car?
oh, they had different cars. Producer, you Google it. I've forgotten the name. And then they drove. And so Wanderlust. Yeah, Wanderlust. Wanderlust cars.
Wow.
That's a wonderful car.
No, but they had different cars, and it was
Oh,
Toyota.
it's
Even
just
when they
one.
went, no, different. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And,
16 days is not too bad though, if you think
and
about
you
it.
know what the joke was when they approached? I think one of the car manufacturers and stuff. In Africa, we wait till when it takes off before we support. Do you understand me?
Yeah.
But when they came to, they did a double standard thing whereby they were invited somewhere to come and represent, and they wanted 50p off, even though you're going to get free promotion. Yeah, they wanted 50p of that person's proceeds, which is party in the park. And this is where sometimes I sit back and I say that,
When you say 50p, what do you mean?
like, let's say that he sold 1,000 tickets.
Yeah.
They want 50p off
Of
it.
each
But
ticket.
if somebody is donating money to, you're getting free promotion. Do you understand?
Yeah.
me?
50p though.
No, but my point is, you don't ask for what you want. Somebody has to donate to you. It's kind of like when somebody's begging, man. Somebody's asking you, oh, can you give me a pound? I think if you had a pound, you wouldn't be asking me to give you a pound. Do you understand? So you don't ask. You actually let the person say, okay, I can give you 20 pounds. Or whatever, I'm donating because they did it for charity. Do you understand me? My point is, our problem that we have is we don't like to put in.
Yep.
We want to reap even before it actually yields. Do you understand me?
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, like this studio, yeah, I have been coming here for almost 3 years. Not one time has he charged me money, and he gives us that platform because he says we want to promote the youth. Yes, go to some next African station. The moment you come out now, they put a basket there that if you don't give money, you're not coming on the show. Do you understand me? What I'm saying is, we don't feed into it.
Yeah.
We don't sort of like promote it. It's like they always want to get something out. Do you understand me? So
Yeah.
this is where I say that when we talk about the diaspora, our African culture, all these stuff, how do we change that narrative? Because I keep using that word narrative in the sense that it's not that we don't know better. You can talk to 100 people, and what we're saying, they know what we're saying is how it is. But nobody wants to make that move. Let's say that you try and you move the needle a bit. Oh, this guy thinks he knows too much. Oh, this guy thinks he knows better. Do you understand me? They don't say that, oh, this guy is doing something fantastic. Let's rally behind him. Let's build it up. Do you understand me? How do we change that mindset? So when we talk about slavery and stuff, sometimes slavery is still in our heads.
It is.
Because when you go to Africa now, you know when you're talking about the food now. Now when you go to Ghana, the billboards, they've got pizza, they've got Burger King, they've got whatever it is. When you've got green plantain, you've got spinach, you've got loads of stuff. But now we don't promote those foods. Now they're promoting pizza.
The one thing they promote a lot in Africa is Indomie, and that one actually
I know,
has
innit?
literally been promoted so many years now.
But is that really African food?
No, it's Chinese food, but what I'm saying is... No, but noodles is not African food.
Yeah,
Come
it's
on
not.
now.
Yeah, it's not. It's not really.
It's Asian, really.
Yes, it is.
It's not.
Oh, yeah, I said Chinese, isn't it?
You said it's Asian, no? Indonesian.
And but, you know,
I mean, Chinese.
like the way they see black people, like they say we're all black,
Chinese
innit?
is still Asian, no?
Yeah.
No, but the thing is, after doing what they do to us, and I'm not saying that, like now, when you go to a place like, I don't know about Nigeria, yeah? When you got these Chinese people that they're having kids in Africa, you know when they started building roads, they started building stuff. They're not doing it for us, you know, because their country is so overpopulated. They don't want somewhere to go.
Yeah.
You understand? So now they're having their children, and then they're learning our language. You know, when
I've seen it literally online.
I know.
A whole class of Chinese people
Yeah.
are literally being taught how to speak Igbo. and literally they're going. Oh, it's crazy. It's scary.
Really?
You know what, guys? The time is now up. You know, there's what's it called? There is what's it called? A program that we're going to do. I couldn't even get it on stuff now. But I want everybody to have their last, the statements that you want to make before we finish the show. So, Shay, for the diaspora, what do you think we can do to make a difference? What do you think the changes could be?
I think the biggest change is just caring, to be honest. I think you have to care in order to make the change. If you don't care, then you're not going to make any change. I think that's the main thing. So you have to care about changing it in order to ensure that you do, and applying what you do have and the resources that you have as far as the people, because the people are the resources. And there's other things, but the people are the main thing, because we have resources back home, but...
Have you got resources here that you can take back home?
Yeah.
So if they give you the opportunity, Linda.
Me? Well, to be fair, like I said before, I want to embrace the unknown, what people don't know about like Africa.
Yeah.
What I would do is actually go ahead and advertise it. Like, it's not hard. I feel like advertisement is the way forward. So that's what I would do to kind of like, and yeah, like I said, projects. If it's anything relating to like Africa, they can always go, like you can always start off by making it better. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. And then me?
Cameroonian woman? That's go on.
No, I agree with both of them, to be honest. And particularly with Shay, you just have to care enough. You have to, it has to be something that's a part of you and that you want it like that bad, to be fair, and stuff like that. So yeah, as for you, I really do hope people follow on with your journey as well. You might as well let them know. Let them know your social media platform,
your social,
stuff like that.
Okay, so guys, make sure you follow Linda Love _. And yeah, support me for Miss Universe Nigeria, please, please, please. I think we will start soon. So yeah, ending of August. So please, yeah, follow.
Oh, okay. So when does the pageant start?
So the actual date
Yes.
for the finale will be 10th of September, Sunday, 10th of September.
Okay,
So,
okay. Okay, so what I'll do is I would send me the link and then I'll share it so that we'll buy the tickets and come and support you.
Yeah.
Come and scream out for you. Yeah.
Sorry guys, it's in Nigeria, but yeah, please do support.
Oh,
me.
No, yeah.
It's in Nigeria.
Oh wow!
Yes, that is really good.
That's really good.
Okay.
Well done, girl.
The flights are looking like a bag plus.
So thank you so much for watching the show. I want people to share the show.
Thank you.
I always keep saying that. Let's thank our producer
Yep,
for being fantastic. No, with me, I tip my hat off to him all the time, Joe. And I thank my guests, my beautiful, beautiful guests. You see, you guys are the future. We need you. I want you guys to share this show. If I was wearing booty shorts now, I would have had 1.5 likes. But now, because I'm fully clothed, that is now 100%. This show is educational. I want people to share it. I want people to like it. I've got a friend that's doing the show on the 27th called Untouched. And I want them to go and support. It's like a Ghanaian guy, Amos, is their show. And it's in Smithfield Street, EC1, 1LB. And my producer is going to kill me. And producer, I love you dearly. And I appreciate you. Good night, everyone. And have a lovely evening. Thank you for watching. Guys, what do you think?
Them little half of the